That's true. Exactly. Oh, just so y'all know, I started my stream, but this is still good conversation, so it just keep
Exactly.
going.
Oh, just so y'all know.
Exactly.
I'm at home. I ain't- Hours, luck, and good luck. Man.
Exactly. Ah, see, I love music. I used to sing, I used to rap, I used to write poetry. Yeah, music is just, it's in me.
For music, bro, oh man, bro, music saved my life at so many points in my life, bro. Like, man, bro, if I didn't have the music I grew up listening, bro, I don't know what I'd be like, bro. Cause, shit, cause that shit got me in the depressed state at one point. The stuff I went through.
I'm not gonna lie, at one point Eminem was a huge musical influence on me. Like a huge musical influence on me. I even tried to rap like that nigga. Dead
Man,
ass.
I tried to sing with like Outkast and shit, bro. I was a huge Andre 3000 fan growing up.
I was a fan of his too. He's one of my top five. Um, I'm gonna say best rappers of all time. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I feel like he's one of the best top five best rappers
That's
of
why
all
it's
time.
Andre
But he's
3000.
definitely in
Listen to
my top
Wayne,
five personal.
like Wayne, Jay Z, then like Drake, Kanye. I love like Kanye. I really fuck with Kanye shit. Oh my lord. Yeah.
I am heavily disappointed in Kanye.
Yeah. It's a.
No, before Kim, before Kim, I noticed Kanye was going crazy. 808s and Heartbreaks is my last favorite Kanye album, and it for me it still signified that he was going down a really weird path. And then that was right around the same time that that whole Taylor Swift incident happened, and I was like, yo, this dude is
Yeah.
tripping.
I mean, to be fair, also you didn't realize Kanye was going to do live. I think he was going to do a live
Mhm.
around like a
Mhm.
lot through his time frame with like knowing his
His mom
mother.
died.
Like yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like I can understand with
No,
something like
she died because of a surgery that yeah, she was
man,
trying to get some type of plastic surgery or something along those lines.
and you know
Yeah.
exactly. You know,
However, I do still love that Watch the Throne album, and that's something that a lot of people don't like, but honestly, I think that shit's a classic. That shit's a classic. Exactly.
Oh man, bro.
These enemies must be defeated.
Oh, bro, it's the melody, bro.
Song
Melody
cry.
ass niggas. Melody
Song cry. Now I will give you that. They don't be their beat selection do be horrible. And niggas
Oh
just be
man.
crying on the track and everything. Like, yo.
Golly, bro. It's.
How are you a
I don't
grown
listen, I
ass
don't
man
listen
with
to
no
that type of
bass in
shit.
your voice?
And all they niggas ball like shoot like Steph. Okay.
I guess that's a line.
I guess.
Yo, that video was so on point. I love RDC
Oh,
World.
y'all troll, young boy player. I'm super young.
Exactly. Be more creative, man. No, we don't. We don't. Creativity is dead.
The enemies have been defeated.
Exactly. Ask Pop Smoke, rest in peace. Ask Pop Smoke what happens when you go out there stunting.
There are moments I miss the simpler path I walked while living among you people.
Sure. Kicking ass with a magic hammer has to have its moments too, right?
Yes.
Exactly. Like, yo, stocks. Let's be real. We need to be teaching our kids stocks. And if niggas didn't learn from this whole GameStop and AMC situation and Dogecoin, first of all, niggas need to be watching the news. I get so tired of hearing our young black men and women talking about, oh, I don't care what's going on in the news. That shit is so boring. Of the fuck? Yup. And we were saying that shit was coming from a lab too, weren't we? But no, that shit's racist.
Like, yo, this nigga's ain't tripping. What the fuck? This nigga... That shit is coincidental, man. I don't know, man.
Nah, they had to deny that shit because Trump was out there saying, oh, and if Trump says something, then it has to be bad. Trump can't say anything right? You know, the man's just a total and complete idiot. He can't be right on anything. Yeah, he was absolutely wrong saying some kung flu shit. Yeah, that was dead wrong.
What?
Nah, exactly. Like, yo, you're the president of the United States. You're not a fucking comedian. All right, I'm not coming to you for jokes. I'm coming to you for actual leadership. And here you are trying to be a clown on the world stage.
Yes, a multi-billionaire, millionaire.
Exactly.
These enemies must be defeated.
Like, I would totally understand somebody feeling like that. Like, that's how I feel, not necessarily about Terrence Howard, but about the show Empire. My mom died from the disease that Terrence Howard has in that show. The one that, oh, it's not that bad, at least it's not ALS. My mom fucking died from that shit. Exactly. But, oh, man. But see, that's the thing. I don't necessarily feel like it's more of we need to be sensitive towards people's situation. It's just more of people need to be fucking people, right? Because we have kind of gotten to a point where we are overly sensitive. Like I have had white friends where they could make a black joke, and if it was funny and I knew who they were, I wouldn't have a problem with it. Like even Bill Burr, when he goes on Saturday Night Live and he makes a black joke, like he made a joke about lotion, right? And how the reason why black people don't age is because we use lotion on more parts of our body than. Shit was hilarious, man. He went on for like 5 minutes talking about how, he had found out about lotion and how, even though he didn't look ashy, he was still ashy. The shit was hilarious. I don't have a problem with a white person making black jokes, especially if they're in a good nature. But then you have some people who just get so sensitive. As soon as you mention something, they want to act like, oh, you're trying to be oppressive and you're a bigot. What the fuck? Can you have a sense of humor? Can you laugh at some stuff?
No, people don't have humors.
Like, I was watching a video on YouTube. I just happened to go on the trending, which I never do. And the number one trending video on YouTube yesterday was this girl on America's Got Talent. She has a 2% chance of surviving from cancer. She still has cancer in her lungs. And she wrote a song talking about how everything is alright. And it sounded beautiful. It sounded like one of those typical, not trying to be racist or anything, but one of those typical, like Taylor Swift or something else along those lines. Yeah, indie songs. And it sounded so beautiful, man. And it's like, yo, this girl is going through all of this and she's sitting up here smiling and laughing and everything, even at her own situation. But y'all can't laugh and joke at your own? Like, come on, man. You're a really fragile person if you can't laugh and joke at your own situations. Or if you can't take a joke about your own situations. Exactly. Because we naturally fear what we don't understand. So instead of, being afraid of it, why not just go ahead and make a lighthearted joke about it? People have no problem when Peter Parker does that shit. Matter of fact, they love Spider-Man because he's making inappropriate jokes in the middle of situations.
Every 5 minutes, try and kill somebody. Yeah, yo.
Yep.
But yeah, y'all really going back. Motherfuckers would go like 5 years into your Twitter over something you said young as shit. Like, why can't you say this? Motherfucker, I was.
Along.
Exactly. I don't get it, bro.
Along those lines, may he rest in peace. I'm glad Bernie Mac doesn't have to see this shit. I'm glad, may he rest in peace, Patrice O'Neal doesn't have to see this shit. Because they would have tried to get them all the way the fuck up out of here. And I would have been revolting if you try to cancel Bernie Mac. That man is one of my favorite comedians of all time. Funny, at the time I still watched Bernie Mac. The fuck are you talking about? Some milk and cookies. Yeah, because they're not
Yeah.
creative.
Hmm. Not really. I mean, honest, not really.
I can think of one off the top of my head. No, I wasn't going to say him. I was actually going to name a black woman. That Sky Jackson, I think it is, the girl from
Oh
Disney.
yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah. I think that she has a somewhat promising career ahead of her. But really, a lot of the stars are kind of like in their. A lot of them aren't necessarily young, right? We don't have. Uh, I guess people like 12, 13 years old out there, but we have some people out there. Um, but they're not getting the roles in major things. I guess is could be going towards your point. Oh, good. Well, see, that's a problem. Yeah, we don't have any funny young people. Well, no, no, take that back.
yeah.
They're all on YouTube.
It's kind of crazy too, bro.
King Bach is starting to get his. RDC is starting to get his. Yeah,
Facts.
but also you now that's also been going on for a while too, though.
Yo, what up, my guy?
The enemies have been defeated.
Oh man, talk about that bullshit.
Well, who specifically are you talking about?
Listen, I don't listen to that. All I know is like the Addison Ray, fucking like that.
But didn't she
I don't
also
know.
do something else before then?
I don't know.
See, now that's something that I was going to get to because I thought you were going to say Charlie D'Amelio for one.
Some scientists
Now, but see,
This
from
is
what
the
I
first
understand,
low-key
she
episode.
from what I understand, she was also on Disney as well, and that's something that my daughter had to tell me because I don't watch what's on Disney. So I don't know what's popping with the kids that are that age. Like the only reason why I know about Sky Jackson is because my daughter watches that show incessantly. So were it not for that, I wouldn't know. And I think that's why I was, specifically trying to find out who it was that you were talking about because it could just be the fact that, you're close to 30 and I'm over 30 and we just don't know what's really going on, especially with the Disney and the Nickelodeon shit. And to answer the question in the chat, yes, I did see the first Loki episode. Of course I saw that shit. It was amazing. Sorry to cut y'all off.
It was amazing.
The scientists are safe. Sending them pickup coordinates so they can evacuate.
I can agree with that.
Do you know who I am?
Thanks, bro.
Hold on. Who is this? I gotta look in the chat and see who this is. Oh, of course I know who you are, Mamba. Appreciate you for tuning in. So you should recognize one of the voices
your
in here then.
favorite 2K players ever.
Mamba, you should
Ha, ha,
recognize one of the
ha.
voices in the chat then. Dwayne, you remember Mamba, right?
can't hear anyone.
Oh, you can't hear anyone. That's Sloth. That's Sloth that I'm playing with. Well, not playing with. I'm in the chat with him. I'm playing by myself. But yeah, I can kind of agree with you that, you know, we don't have, like, I get right around the time that I was 14 years old, we had really a huge number of teenagers. No, I'm not playing with myself like that, Mama. Jesus Christ. But like when I was a teenager, we had a huge number of people who were like teenagers that had just become popular. Destiny's Child was popping. Alicia Keys became popular. She was like 19 at the time. You had Justin Timberlake, who had become popular. Britney Spears. Like, it was right around that time period. Christina Aguilera. Like, you had a lot of people in multiple different industries who were becoming really popular. But we don't have that same level right now. And I think it's kind of, one, not a lot of people are watching network television or just television, period.
Oh no, that ain't the case.
So a lot of stuff that's being consumed, like my daughter watches way more YouTube than she watches anything else. My son never watches anything unless, you know, it's really on YouTube.
Right back.
Well, I ain't watched TV in like 5 years, bro.
I don't watch TV myself. So, one, I can't name a whole bunch of young stars for that reason alone. And two, why would they really be clamoring for those roles when those roles are kind of, you know, when you can do it yourself? Like you said, you can just use somebody's music, do a damn TikTok dance, and become popular. Because Hollywood is stuck in the Hollywood is stuck in the mud. Mhm.
Every member of the elite team must be defeated.
Yeah.
One of their agents is down. Another agent down.
I was having Barry Guy show on Netflix. When King Barry Guy show on Netflix, I was happy for him.
Well, Michael Che just got his own show. Oh, wow. So you don't watch Saturday Night Live at all? Alright, this man is one of the only reasons why I watched Saturday Night Live, to be honest. I really was watching just the Weekend Update. And they're cold open because every now and then that would actually be pretty funny. And depending on who the guest was. But the Weekend Update, I will watch that every week. Because him and Colin Jost, who is Scarlett Johansson's husband, are hilarious together. Especially when they force each other to read jokes that the other hasn't read. Michael Che has Colin Jost reading. I'm gonna try to find one of those clips and send it to you. He has him reading some of the most racist shit out there. Like, one of them was about a local area starting Rosa Parks Day, and he said, which my dad calls Uppity Black Person Day. And of course he hasn't read these jokes ahead of time, so as he's reading it, he's like, yo, this is some fucked up shit you had me saying.
If you can gain control of AIM's network temporarily, I can infiltrate.
I thought he had one. Well, he got a YouTube show.
So I can get you inside the lab.
No, he has one on Netflix. He has one on Netflix. I thought I could have swore I saw him having a show on Netflix, something about some sneakers. Oh, all right. True. But now there's a difference when it comes to that, though. I will say, can you actually carry a show for multiple seasons? I understand you're good at making sometimes even 5-minute videos, but are you creative enough to come up with a 30-minute show for multiple years?
AIM will attempt to initiate a shutdown protocol if they gain access to the terminal. You cannot let them.
What show are you talking about that lasted long? That the comedian was just good at stand up and, they actually didn't have any input whatsoever. Well, now that's my wife and kids is actually a very horrible example because he is very good at that stuff.
Beginning infiltration.
While I can agree with that, he's not Wayne's level. Let's just be real about that. No, the reason why we know what that wasn't Keenan, that was Damon. The reason why we know what Damon was able to do is because you gotta realize he didn't get that show immediately. He had put in work for decades by the time that show came out. Decades. Matter of fact, his younger brothers got a show before he did.
I'm inside AIM security system.
That, again, that is true. And I'm not saying that these guys shouldn't eventually get their own stuff. But what I'm saying is when you look at it from a purely business perspective, right? They haven't proven that they could carry a sitcom of that nature, right? Like, you specifically brought up my wife and kids, so we'll go off of Damon Wayans. Damon Wayans in his career before he got my wife and kids had been on not just In Living Color, which was not a sitcom show, but it was a variety show with, yeah, it was sketch comedy, but it still lasted for a long time and it could have lasted longer. He also had been in a multitude of movies. He had also written for other people. So he had put in a whole lot of work before he was able to get that show. D.L. Hughley, before he got his show, he had written for years. He had done a whole bunch of stand-ups and things of that nature where he actually had to carry shit by himself for a long time before he was able to get his show. Martin, the same way. Now, I'm not saying that these other YouTube stars don't deserve to end up getting their show. Eventually, I do believe that they should be on that level. I'm just saying that from a network TV standpoint, those people are going to have to prove a little bit more. Like even DC Young Fly, he tried to do TRL and that shit flopped. And he's a hilarious person, but it just didn't work. Sneakerheads, I don't know anybody who watches that show. Nobody. Movie, I don't know anybody who's ever seen it. Seriously. And it's not a knock against them saying that they're not funny. It's just for those people to, like with the whole Monique situation. I'm not saying Monique isn't worth money, but Monique was not worth what she was asking for. She had put in all of those years, but she still had a very niche audience. She wasn't really a box office draw. Amy Schumer shouldn't have gotten paid what she got paid because she didn't have the draw. She was basically the anti-Monique. All she really was popular to was to some white people and mostly white women. I don't know anybody who likes Amy Schumer. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, I'll give you a really good example. You know about Stephen Colbert, right? Man, it's hilarious. I used to love watching his show when he had the Colbert Report. And for the first few years, I loved watching The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. I don't watch him anymore. Which goes straight along with your point. Colbert to me was hilarious. But because there's so much other content out there, he's not holding my attention the same way. And this is a man who is established. But he's right now going kind of down in the ratings because people are getting tired of him. So from a network, if you're seeing stuff like that, and then you start to wonder, all right, these other people, are they really going to be able to hold the attention, or is it a short-term thing? We don't want to put millions of dollars out there on the line if this person isn't going to be a long-term thing. Networks, you want to know why networks aren't going to die? because they because they have been bought out by much bigger companies that don't necessarily actually care about the bottom line of the networks. For example, do you know who owns NBC?
Disney.
No, no, Universal.
uh,
Yeah, yeah. Not
they will get
not
bounced.
just not just Universal. Universal also is under Comcast.
Mm.
So, do you think they really give a fuck what NBC's numbers are? They're owned by Comcast. When you're one of those larger businesses, one of the things that you can do is take a loss on another business so that way it'll end up helping you with your taxes. You know all about that, Dwayne. Yeah, so what they'll do is they'll take a loss on NBC so all of their other businesses can take a profit. I agree. Mhm. She ain't getting no movie. If that's what I'm trying to say, I think.
Be careful out there. We're all counting on you.
Hype House. Now, if that's what I'm thinking it is, those are guys who have not been around for just a long, not for a short time. If it is who I'm thinking it is, that's the two hype crew, who is very. Oh, all right. I was about to say, But also look up her history. Look up her history because I think my daughter was telling me that she was on a Disney show back in the day. And if that's the case, then that's nothing more than Logan Paul and Jake Paul. They were. They were on Disney. They didn't have to have their own show. If you were on Disney, it doesn't like Sky Jackson. She didn't have her own show, but she's known. Like if you're on like the chick who was on iCarly, the other girl, she's somewhat famous. Like it
Yeah,
just by
she ain't shit
fucking
renewed.
Britney Spears was a nobody on Disney. But she ended up because Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, Christina Aguilera were all on Disney. It's just when you start to get in those circles, then you start to get more offers because you start to know people. And that's the thing. You know, when you're coming from YouTube, you don't really know anybody. You really don't. They know that.
Your objective. These enemies must be defeated.
You want to know who is single-handedly saving the movie industry right now, though?
That Disney baby.
They are single-handedly saving movies because, quite frankly, I don't give a fuck about watching movies right now unless it's a Marvel movie.
Man, the last couple movies in theaters have been Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Over billions of dollars. Especially the last 10 years.
The last non-Marvel movie that I went to go see was Godzilla, King of the Monsters. And I fell asleep while watching that movie. But I also don't go to the movies because the last time that I went to the movies before I went to go see Marvel, I think, Jesus, the first time that I went to go to the movies in a long time was to go see Deadpool. Before then, the last movie I saw was Shutter Island. I predicted the entire movie. I was pissed off and I was like, yo, after seeing this in Cloverfield, I'm not spending my money to go to the movie theater to see another garbage movie. Or something that looks like it could be a good movie, but ends up being garbage. Because the trailer for Cloverfield looked like it was going to be great. Got in there and realized that that was the movie. One, you're going to have to start doing more indie movies. They're going to have to start doing movies from directors like Taika Waititi, people who, you know, are different and will bring in different people. Ryan Coogler. You got to bring in, you know, more of these outside directors, people who have different visions, so, you know, you can come up with different stories. Because as long as you keep on coming up with the same directors, coming up with the same stories, then it's going to be the same bullshit over and over and over again. Like, honestly, I'm getting tired of seeing Michael B. Jordan. I'm so tired of seeing that man.
He's the only nigga. Man. Samuel Jackson. Everything.
Yeah, well, Sam Jackson has been in everything his whole life, so I'm not going to say nothing about that. And I don't want Sam Jackson to stop being in stuff because I love Sam Jackson. He's one of my favorite actors. Like,
You look like out Hollywood.
oh, that's right. That's the movie that I can't wait to see. The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. That movie. I can't wait to see that movie. And because of movies like that, I can't wait until Deadpool gets into the Marvel Universe because him and Nick Fury is going to be hilarious.
Oh man, that's gonna be great.
And he's definitely going to make a reference to that movie. You already know it.
It's Deadpool.
Yes. That Deadpool, I really love how Ryan Reynolds did Deadpool.
Oh my god, I remember it was possibly that movie wasn't even gonna come out. Deadpool until that thing leaked.
Yeah.
I know he did.
They were too scared. They were too scared. Yeah. I agree. I agree. And I told you, I agree that these other people, need to be given opportunities. It's just when you look at it from their perspective and the amount of money that they have to shell out there for these shows to get done and everything, they want to try to make sure that, it's one, something that people want, and two, something that they can control. That's the other thing. It's called television programming for a reason. All right, they are trying to get specific messages through TV, and it's not always bad. I love some of the values that they try to teach my children through TVs and through movies. I learned stuff myself through TVs and movies. One of the lines that my teacher taught me when I was younger was from The Lion King. She always used to say to me, "You are more than what you have become." Yes, you can learn shit from movies, but at the same point in time, they're trying to stay within certain narratives and they're trying to cater to certain audiences, and they don't realize that reality works way more than a scripted narrative. And it's a shorter amount of time. It's also, well, no, because even in some of those, you still learn lessons. Like with RDC World when he was talking about J. Cole's new album. No, there was a lesson within it. There was a lesson within it about how when you listen to certain types of music, it forms your ideas and sometimes even your perception or your who you are. Right? Like perfect example, when I was younger, I was a totally different person. And I can tell you the point that I changed when I listened to Get Rich or Die Trying. I was a kid from the suburbs trying to be fucking 50 Cent, asking my friend how I could join a gang. Just like these young niggas is out here doing now. But when you have somebody out there like J. Cole, it gives you a totally different perspective on things. And you're like, all right, man, I might need to go ahead and get my life together. We need to start focusing on some different things.
I mean, just like this day in my life, too.
And I know he wasn't trying to make that narrative in there. But sometimes when you make good art, it still has a lesson in there. The best art has a lesson in it because the best lies are told with reality. The best truth is stranger than fiction. That's why J. Cole is so hot, because he brings reality in there. Not all of them. You don't learn how to treat people better? He doesn't show you how. All right, you, of course you're an older person, so you're not a child, so you already inherently know that stuff. But for some kids, just like, Agreed. 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 No, with any type of lesson, you can't just go out there and just start teaching people. Some of the most boring teachers that you have ever had were the ones who would just sit there in class. Today we're going over page 9.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, immediately you start to fall asleep because it sounds like somebody from the Ben Stein. And Ben Stein is not, like, he's a very smart person, but he's not entertaining. People don't even watch Neil deGrasse Tyson, and the man talks about some interesting stuff. But once he starts getting animated about things, that's when you start listening. Once he starts gets entertaining, that's when you start listening. I'm not saying that Mr. Beast himself is purposefully trying to push any type of narrative whatsoever. But what I am saying is his content is as popular as it is. Yes, because he's giving away a lot of stuff, but also because, he's a really cool guy and people like the type of person that he is. There are kids who want to be like Mr. Beast, not just because he has a lot of money, but because he does a lot of good. Yeah, with the money. True. I do also have to remember that I look at things differently than others. I try to learn from everything. But there still are psychological things though. There still are psychological things though. Like, you don't necessarily know that you're affected by something, but you're still affected by it. I didn't know that I was trying to, I didn't know that listening to 50 Cent was going to make me start having the thoughts that I was going to have. It just sounded cool to me. Exactly. Next thing you know, this Christian boy who wanted to be a preacher wanted to become a gang member. And it's like, yo, isn't normally that the opposite of what happens? Exactly. Yeah. They're not trying to give up on control. They're not trying to give up on control. Yeah. Well, yes and no, because they'll still always have some people that will continue to bail them out. Like I said, Marvel is single-handedly holding up Hollywood right now. Like, if it wasn't for Marvel, where would Robert Downey Jr. be right now?
Somewhere.
Unfortunately, where would Don Cheadle be?
Making. Yeah.
Not making the money that he's making right now.
I don't know. I don't know Chris Evans be doing.
Did Chris Evans? Because, yeah, he had some roles, but he wasn't. Yeah.
The Fantastic Four and the fucking another teen movie that's on there. I remember him, bro. I mean, Chris Evans, man, like,
And
Jackson still do what he do now.
Well, no, Sam Jackson. Sam Jackson is. Sam Jackson is a different breed. I feel bad saying this, and this is really because of not our community, but the white community. Chadwick Boseman. He wouldn't get the respect that he deserves if it wasn't for Marvel.
Man, I mean, let's be honest.
His career took a totally different path after being in Black Panther. He was given way more. Shang-Chi.
Bro, that dude's gonna be big. Yeah, that dude's gonna be big. I can tell, bro. That dude.
I hope. Because we still, we still have some unfortunate thoughts towards our Asian counterparts. No, I understand you don't, but I'm talking about Hollywood. Like, why hasn't Lucy Liu had a better career? Come on, man.
Man, Lucy Liu, bro. Woo-wee.
We do, but that's also going to require more minority directors writing roles for minorities. As it stands right now, you have a whole bunch of white roles, and unfortunately, you're going to have a whole bunch more of them because of Marvel. Because the majority of Marvel superheroes are white people.
You're not finished yet.
Yeah, man, it's like trying to diversify motherfuckers now, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And we're starting to get more opportunities. I'm glad about that. We need, like you said, we definitely need more opportunities. I was saying that to somebody just earlier today because they put up a picture saying the women of Marvel, and it had Wanda, Captain Marvel,
Mm.
and who was the other one?
Uh, Homegirl from Runner Up. I
No,
forgot her
no,
name.
no, 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 no. It was some other white woman.
Oh,
I can't remember who the third was. And I said, yo, it's a shame that you put this picture up here and didn't include any black women. You're talking about the women of Marvel.
wasn't the chick from Runner Up? She black?
Yeah,
The main?
she's mixed.
Oh, she's mixed. Oh.
But mixed is still black. I'm mixed. What are
I
you trying to
mean,
say? Matter of fact, I'm gonna try to find that picture because I want to see who that third person was. I agree. Exactly.
Mm.
Never heard of it.
I miss that show. I miss that show.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Where is this picture at? Because I still want to find out who this fucking other third person was.
Yes.
Yeah, who is? I don't know who this other person is.
Who?
It's some woman in a green and gray outfit. I'm gonna send y'all this picture because, in my
Oh.
opinion, it's corny as fuck. me go ahead and select this next mission.
Bro, I really like this boot camp. Skin.
How many how many levels have you gone through, Dwayne?
I'm at Gauntlet 6 right now.
Damn, I'm at 3.
God, what the fuck?
Oh man, somebody else I used to go to church with died.
Be careful out there. We're all counting on you.
You saying the green?
I have no idea what that is.
Oh shit, hold on.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
oh.
E3 started today. I actually don't necessarily care about what E3 is going to be putting out, except for like 3 games. Avengers, Spider-Man, and God of War. And I don't think... Yeah, I don't... Yeah, so they're not doing anything about God of War. Spider-Man and Avengers, that's
You
all I
said
really care about.
the woman in the green?
Yeah, I have no idea who that is.
That's Black Widow.
Oh, alright. I don't know. Whoever posted that picture, first of all, is a pervert. Second of all, one of the top comments on there said this picture is a lie because Captain Marvel has no ass. I was like, I mean, it doesn't matter if she does or doesn't, but yeah, she has no ass. No, that's just us as guys. We want women to be attractive. Just like women want men to be attractive, but then they try to... I'm not even going to go down that road.
Yeah.
But no, see, here's the thing. There's a whole bunch of talk about body shaming, and I was watching a video about this earlier, and they made perfect sense. It said, you know, women hate when guys body shame them, but will quickly body shame a guy. Oh, you must have a little dick.
Yeah.
They'll say that so quick. Like, that's their first insult to a guy. Oh, you must have a little dick. What? Why is that okay? Why is that okay, body shaming?
The enemies have been defeated.
Exactly. Oh, I shouldn't be worried about what you look... I'm just meant... You didn't say a word.
King.
Matter of fact, they can't hear you, actually. They can't hear you. No. As someone early... Mamba, I told him that you might recognize somebody in the stream.
Wayne just said. This nigga said. He hates women. Wayne hates women.
Plus, it's the whole thing about body shaming is, I guess they're supposed to be saying, well, you shouldn't be judging the bodies of people that you're not trying to date. Or even when you're trying to date, you shouldn't judge a person by how they look. You should judge them by their personality. I'm sorry. I will... No. No, let's be real, okay? Because women will quickly say, I'm not dating a guy under 6 feet because I want my children to be tall. It's called selective breeding. You're right. You're right, which means that there are a lot of women who put themselves out of a realistic relationship because they want a guy who's over 6 feet.
6 feet tall, plays in the NBA.
See, what I'm trying
Top
to get at
nobody.
is the problem. Exactly.
6'3" in the NBA.
I want a guy who's. I want. I want a man who's 6'3". He has to be making. Well, I'm 6 feet, so yeah, I'm definitely taller than a lot of people.
You can't be sociable whatsoever except for me.
Yeah, he has to be making 6 figures.
8 figures, fuck that, 6 figures. Nah, I want 8 figures.
Oh, and then you get the ones who throw in there, oh, he also has to have a hood mentality. What the fuck are you talking about?
She gotta be street smart. Street smart.
Yes. No,
And
I
classy.
was watching this one video where this woman actually came out of her mouth and said that she could not date a guy who was the CEO of a bank because he doesn't get money quick enough. If she
Oh
needs
my God.
if she needs 50,000 by Friday, she doesn't need him to say that he has to wait until payday to get money. She needs that money right now. But they're out there telling these young women the same stupid shit that they believe, and these young women will believe it. And it's like, no, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. A relationship is a partnership between two people. You're going to sit there and try to put all the burden on somebody else. All right, so that guy is bringing 6 figures in. What are you doing?
I am the prize.
No, I swear to God, I heard women. Agent Zero was out there
Yes.
asking women what they bring to the
know.
table, and they were saying, "I am the table."
Exactly. Yep.
I heard that shit. I was like, yo, shut that clown shit up.
And that's on period.
You about to be an
period,
end
too.
table. Exactly.
What did this world come to? What did this world?
Yeah.
Not surprised. Bro. Motherfucker. Nigga, you just gotta show your face.
I'm
Get some
not
money.
because they're afraid of the phrase toxic masculinity.
Oh
They're
my
afraid
God.
of
Oh my.
they're afraid of the phrase mansplaining. They're
Oh my-
afraid
who
to
the
be a
fuck is
man.
mansplaining?
I don't know, somebody who is tired of men. Like, there is mansplaining. Yes, there are guys who are chauvinists. My preacher was one. My preacher was one growing up. But no, the majority of guys are not trying to be anything but allies to women. At least the majority of guys that I know. I don't hang around those other guys. I don't hang around niggas who, tell women that they, who try to tell women what to do. I don't hang around them type of niggas.
I need access to multiple terminals. The more the better.
Exactly. Everybody can do what you want as long as you're not hurting anybody. But here's the thing. I can't bear children. There are some things that I physically just am not capable of doing. That does not make me less of a human. It just means that I have to partner with somebody who can if I want to accomplish a certain goal. That's, called teamwork, right? I have asked many different people. I'll ask y'all the same question. Y'all don't have children, but I'm very certain of what your answer would be. If you had children, would you put them in a daycare center that was run entirely by men? But would you put them in a daycare center that was entirely run by women?
Yes.
Okay. I have not heard one person tell me that they would be comfortable putting their children in an all-male daycare center. Not one person.
Hey, what's good, little nigga?
Exactly.
Hey, listen, y'all go outside.
there's also the opportunity of them raping the children. Like you don't hear about daycare centers where women are raping little boys. You don't hear about that shit. But you hear about the opposite. So the more we start to just recognize our differences and celebrate our differences instead of trying to all be the same, then you know the better off we're going to be. We do, because we're afraid to say anything. I don't think Kevin Samuels was God, but I'm glad that he's opening up the conversation, or at least starting the conversation.
Now, excuse me, he donate $20 to my favorite Twitch streamer. My name on the board. Excuse me. Oh my god. Damn. Yeah,
exactly. Man. Oh, let me. This woman's in a hot tub, barely even reading the comments. But let me go ahead and give her 20 because maybe she'll read that. Oh, she didn't read the 20? Let me drop her 100. Nigga, what?
So the link. Oops.
Who the get your. I hate seeing men like that. I hate seeing men like that. Exactly. Like I constantly see women putting up statuses like it's a shame that I have morals and values because I could be out here making 6 figures off of OnlyFans. Doesn't matter. If you can pull 100,000 real quick, how much is that going to change your life? If you're smart, invest and put it into something else. Like that's honestly what these strippers say that they're trying to do. This OnlyFans was a blessing for them.
Ah, damn.
See, there are people who have people put their music on OnlyFans. Like people are using that instead of Patreon.
That's crazy.
Or you can have some OnlyFans content, you can have some Patreon content.
Yo, Tiger. Yes, bro. This man was
Yeah, Tiger had like 23, 24 girlfriends while he was married. Well, I hope you ain't trying to go the Tiger road. He wasn't just fucking them. He was having full-on relationships. All right, Donald Trump.
Wait, isn't like Jazz Bear having the OnlyFans or something?
Those two.
Hey man, they freaks.
Oh. So, speaking of OnlyFans, we have a tragedy. Somebody who was a child star is now doing OnlyFans pictures and videos.
Who is it?
Remember the oldest daughter on the Bernie Mac show?
Oh no.
Yes, the dark skinned one. Yeah. Yeah. It came across as a yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let me.
Yeah, some dudes you're like, yo, how the fuck did you get a girlfriend? You're dating her? I've had that. I've had that conversation multiple times. No, not saying you, but I'm saying like I've had conversations with guys, and it's like, hold on, you're dating her?
Her?
You?
How?
I know how weird you are. Oh, you must be putting money in her pocket. That's what it is. All right.
Nigga built like fucking Napoleon Dynamite. You fucking. I'm like, there ain't no, ain't no way, man. That she must take that motherfucker pot dry or no, he's genuinely funny. I'm taking the first option.
Yeah, it's because they're the table. Women who feel like that feel like they're the table.
Shout
And
out to years along with this.
yeah,
Man, brother.
exactly. But get a dog, die alone.
Ain't that the truth?
I'm a PhD.
Listen, it don't matter.
Every member of the elite team
Yo,
must be defeated.
alright, so I was watching this comedian and he was doing some crowd work and this lady hopped on there and she said that she was a doctor. He was like, "Oh, alright, what kind of doctor are you?" And she said she was a Juris Doctor. That means the lady's a fucking lawyer and went to doctorate school to be a lawyer. He was like, "Why the fuck didn't you just say I'm a lawyer instead of saying I'm a doctor?" What kind of doctor are you? "Oh, I'm a doctor of law." What kind of law are you healing? People just get so pretentious when they get that doctorate degree. It's like, oh, well, no, I can't associate with you because I'm a doctor. Nigga, fuck your doctorate.
I'm a janitor now, but listen, I still got three PhDs though. Yeah, you know, it's getting hard, bro. It's been hard. Listen, I can still say your life. When you chicken that McNugget, I can say your
Yeah, and that's what they really think. Yeah, he threw everybody exactly. If you ain't an old white person, then you don't deserve to be in the workforce making over $15 an hour. That's what he said.
Lord have mercy.
And educated. Because he did say the less educated. Like black people are less educated than whites. Yo, they say so much stuff. And that's why I try to tell y'all, yeah, I watch Fox News. I watch Fox News so I can know what the enemy is saying about me.
These enemies must be defeated.
If we were living in hell, then the people who are prospering right now must be devils.
I think.
You've never seen The Good Place, have you? Oh, alright. How much of The Good Place have you seen?
The enemies have been defeated.
Oh, alright.
Man, I'm about to say, if this hell, then what the fuck I done in the past life? Like, damn. Nigga, I must have been a demon. I must have done some. It's an illusion. It's illusion. We're all in the Matrix.
Excellent work. You've dealt enough.
Um,
You're not finished yet.
You don't remember what was going on, so I don't want to say anything. I don't. I. Oh, all right, all right. Then they. No, they did have some moments of joy. It wasn't entirely torture. Um. No, no, no. Even in season one, like the relationship that Eleanor and Chidi had, you could kind of look at that as a moment of joy. Like it ended up unintentionally giving them some moments of joy, which is why there's actually a film theory video. Since you said you remembered the twist and everything. Yeah, where he said Michael was actually the one being tortured, and I kind of actually agree with that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, everything that we're using to talk to each other right now is man-made. Yeah, money. It goes no, is deeper than that. It's deeper than that. It's when did racism end?
Like, oh, that's funny. Legally, yes, legally.
I don't know because we just signed an anti-Asian discrimination bill this past year, so.
God, that was kind of crazy.
The civil rights bill was 64, or no, 68.
Hmm.
No, it's been over 50 years. It hasn't been 100 yet, though. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. John McCain was born during World War II. He had to change his mentality about black people. And anytime I see a white person who is 70, 80 years old, I automatically assume that you have had at one point in your life. If you don't have them anymore, you at least have had negative thoughts towards black people.
Nah, man, I love you niggas.
Exactly. And the older you get, the more strongly held those beliefs were. Because with each generation, I'm noticing they're starting to become more and more accepting of other people.
Yeah.
It's starting to become disgusting at this point. Now, it is. I'm sorry. I was at the poll on Tuesday for the election, and I was having some conversations with some people, and it all right. I'll get one. Yeah, I'm still streaming, and that's why I'm only going to bring up one. Um, this one guy was talking about the George Floyd situation, right? And he was a teacher at a school, and he said how him and his students had to have a long painful, open conversation. And he was talking just like that. He was so emphasis and he looked so shuddered and shook and like, oh my God, this was so hard. I'm like, nigga, shut the fuck up. That was difficult for you. 2020 was a difficult year for you. Oh, let me cry for you. Let me get the world's smallest violin for you. Jesus Christ. 2020 was a tougher year for you. I've had worse. And I'm only 36.
36.
To try to come to me and act like you have done something because you had a fucking conversation. No. No, the conversation probably was hard for him to hear. As a white man, it probably was hard for him to hear what black people go through. Hard to hear what black people are going through. You hear the key word in that sentence, right? Hear. Not live what these people are going through, but to hear what these people are going through. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to hear about how rough it is to be a white person in this country. I don't want to hear how rough it is to hear about black people's experiences because we're the ones who are actually living those fucking experiences. I know a young girl whose mother had her boyfriend raping her just so she could get drugs from that boyfriend. So how is that young lady supposed to be normal? How is she supposed to have a successful, productive, normal American life for the rest of her life? She can't, because that type of trauma is going to be stuck in her brain for the rest of her life. And we don't worry about that type of stuff. Oh, that's such a sad story. My heart goes out to you. What the fuck is that supposed to do for her? Yeah, and the mother. You could provide resources so she could get some sort of counseling. Instead of locking her up when she does some, when she breaks the law as she has done. But I'm sorry, I expected. Because she's had a shitty life. Fuck other people because it's been fuck me for so long, right? I totally understand people who have, well, I don't want to say I totally understand people who have that mentality because I don't. Because I didn't go through what you went through. I went through my own traumas. I understand what I went through, but I can't sit here and say that I understand other people because I don't know what you went through. I don't know how it affected you.
We're all counting on you.
Nor am I going to sit here and try to act like, I can't sit here with this whole guilt thing. I hate when people try to fuck it, I'll go ahead and use the word. I hate white guilt. I hate it. And that's when you go above and beyond to try to cater to somebody. It almost feels like pandering to me. And I hate pandering. You can't. You can't.
An elite AIM team is close by and on alert. Updating your HUD.
I felt something, however, alright. No. Because here's the reason why. Here's the reason why. I couldn't feel exactly how Pepper would have felt in that situation. Yeah, but I can't truly. No, because she has a different relationship with Tony than I have with anybody that I know.
Every member of the elite team must be defeated.
Yes, you can. I'm not saying that you can't do that. That's more of that's kind of sympathizing. I prefer more empathizing. Like, all right, I understand that you have gone through something. Is there something that I can do to help? I feel like that's a better approach instead of just saying, "Oh, I feel your pain." I feel your pain doesn't do much. I feel your yeah. I don't want to just know your experience just to be knowing what's going on. I want to know your experience so I can say, all right, this is how I can help this person. And I feel like a lot of, and what I meant about white guilt, and I'll bring up a specific example so that way it doesn't necessarily look, I'm just trying, Jimmy Fallon is a perfect example of it. And I don't necessarily hate Jimmy Fallon. I don't, he's a cool guy. But I feel like he goes out of his way to try to incorporate black people. And that's where I have a problem. Don't go out of your way to try to bring me in there. Create a natural lane where everybody can be represented equally, right? Not just, oh, look, I got a black band. What? Okay. Oh, look at how many black people I hang out with. No. That's not what it is, bro. It's just be you and just realize that black people are getting screwed over. All right? Yeah, you have been very quiet.
I'm just looking, bro. I'm just listening, bro.
These enemies must be defeated.
Trying? No. I completely agree with that. Yeah. Agreed. You didn't have to force Captain America to do anything, did you? I agree. All right. There was a story of a mother who saw a car fall on her child. I don't remember exactly how it fell on him, but the car fell on her child. And she leapt in and was actually able to lift the car off of her child. Do you think she had to be told to do that? Because real heroes don't have to be told to be a hero. And real heroes often don't look for opportunities to be a hero. The opportunities just present themselves to be a hero. I didn't want to share this story because it kind of sounds like bragging, and I don't really like to brag when I help people, but it just happened recently and it kind of fits with this situation. While I was at the polling place, it was fucking 91 degrees outside. Hot as shit, right? This older white lady comes up and she asked us where her polling location was because she had recently moved. She didn't know where she was supposed to go. In the process of the conversation, I see her lift her hands up like she's trying to balance herself or like she had just got dizzy real quick. And then I saw her hand start shaking. I immediately grabbed her hand, put with one hand, and put my hand behind her back because I knew she was about to pass out. The other people that were there with me didn't know what was going on. Once they saw her actually get down to the ground, that's when I started getting a little assistance. I asked them, call 911. She said she didn't need it. It was just, I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. I'm not going around looking to try to, oh man, I saved this woman the other day. No, that's just what the fuck you're supposed to do if you're in that situation. I don't need people going around looking like in the comics. John Walker and Battlestar actually go and look to try to save people so they can look better to other people. I don't like it when people do that stuff. I don't need you to go around trying to save people if you're not in the area. We don't need you to be the Avengers. Just do good where you can. Oh, yeah. I agree. I agree. But the thing is, when you recognize that there's a problem, there is such a thing as overcorrection, right? You can go so far to the left that you're not actually helping the problem, you're just creating another problem. And honestly, I feel like that's where we kind of are in America, right? Yeah. Well, no, the racists are going to be the, yeah, they're going to be the all right and the far right. But then, yeah, people who are so much about human rights. Well, no, not. I guess here's a better way of explaining it, and I need to go ahead and pause the game so that way I can focus on what I'm saying, so I can say it the right way. You have, you start off with the racists, right? And then you have people who are saying, this isn't right. We should do something about it. And that's where it starts off great, where you have people who recognize that there's a problem and they want to do something about it. Then the next wave comes in and it's like, well, you know what? These people were slaves for so long. There are actually some systemic things that have been affecting them. So we need to go ahead and try to help these people, you know, give them a leg up. And that's cool as well. Then the next wave comes in and it says, you know what? We've been keeping these people down for so long. We need to elevate these people above the other group. Whoa, that's where the problem starts to come. Because once it gets to that point, the people who are not being elevated, the people who are being elevated against, start to say, well, wait a second. I had absolutely nothing to do with what happened to that person. Why am I being penalized for what other people did to, and that person didn't specifically be penalized or wasn't specifically affected by that. We'll stick with racism. That person wasn't a slave. So why is it that they are getting something for what my ancestors did to their ancestors? Agreed. However, the problem still comes with the perception of those other people. You still have to find a way to make sure that those other people do not become disillusioned or disenfranchised. Because when they start to become disillusioned and disenfranchised, these are people who automatically had rights. They were automatically in the forefront. You drop them into the back. Who is willing to drop to number 2 without a fight? Especially when you already have the ability and have had the will to fight for generations. You always have to look at things from multiple people's perspectives. Like, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier was trying to tell people that. What is it that makes Carly Morgenthau willing to risk her life fighting against the world's strongest governments? What is it that made those people on January 6th so angry that they were willing to risk their life storming the Capitol? Yes, they were stupid and all of that other stuff, but what caused them to be that stupid? That's the stuff that we need to start looking at. Yeah. Exactly. Do you know what the average housing price is for Brooklyn now? 900,000. This is Brooklyn, you know, Bed-Stuy all day. Where Biggie, Jay-Z are from. Now the average house there costs $900,000.
Considerably older than yours, but I take it.
Exactly. The the Bible says that the root of money is that the love of money is the root of all evil. It doesn't say that money is the root of all evil. It says the love is, and that's because if you truly love something, you will do anything for it. Of course you are. Oh, no, I actually haven't spent much time in DC. Oh, I've definitely never been to the hood in DC. In rich technically, technically, if the no, technically with Section 8, if you are tearing down those areas, well, with government housing, period, if you're tearing down those areas, they have to build another area for you to stay at. That is the law now under Obama. Well, since Obama. Um, yeah. Because in Richmond we had the exact same problem, and we're still having it, kind of. Even there were a few historically black neighborhoods in Richmond. A couple of them were, well, one was Blackwell, and in the 90s they went ahead and gentrified the fuck out of that neighborhood. Like, there was projects there, they tore all of the projects down, and during this time period there were a lot of people who actually ended up going homeless when they tore all of that shit down. Right now in Richmond, well, actually, since the, Brown versus Board of Education, Jackson Ward, when they said separate but equal is not constitutional, Jackson Ward was a very thriving black community. They had a theater there which had acts like James Brown, Nat King Cole. All of the real old black acts had to go there because they couldn't go to the white place. So that had a thriving black community in that area. Well, as soon as the black acts could start going to where the white people were, they stopped going to that area. So that started to kill the business in that area, which started to drop down the property values in that area. Now that area is starting to become gentrified. There are so many other areas in Richmond. There was one in Richmond, it was called Churchill. And, well, it's called Churchill. And when I first moved here from New York, I would hear every day about a nigga getting shot and killed over there. Every day. But again, this was in the 90s where everywhere was wild. New York was wild in the 90s. Richmond was wild in the 90s. Everybody was wilding out. Now, I go out there and I campaign, and I see white ladies walking their dogs down the street.
Look for a chest with gear nearby.
I ain't know it's gonna get it.
I actually kind of get it. The it's it's being afraid of what you don't understand. That is a natural human trait. And when you see somebody who looks different than you, you're going to be like, what the fuck is this? I mean, there is even some racism within animals. And that's all we are, is animals.
A shield ally is in trouble nearby and needs your help.
Yeah, I can agree with that perspective. I do. There are some physical differences between us and white people. There are, like, even yeah. I was specifically gonna go straight to hair, but if two white people have a child together, that child is going to be white. If a white person and a black person has a child, that child is going to be black. You know, it's just like I was trying to say earlier when it comes to I forgot what the conversation was specifically about, but it's really more of we just got to learn to celebrate the fact that we are not exactly the same, and we're not supposed to be the same. Yeah. I don't believe that. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. The Bible, no, the Bible. There are actually texts that let you know that there were other people, and it's even in the regular version of the Bible. So I don't have to go to conspiracy theory on this, and bring up parts of the Bible that may or may not be accepted. But when Cain killed Abel, God put a mark on one of the. He told him that he had to flee the land. He couldn't be there anymore. And one of the things that Cain was afraid of was that somebody would recognize, would know what he did and kill him. And God put a mark on him so that if anybody killed him, they would have to deal with his wrath. Who are these people that Cain was afraid of? Exactly. Who is the wife that Cain then ended up having and having children with after he had left his family? See? Mm-hmm. Yes. No. Well, yeah, and that's what I'm trying to say. There are a whole lot of gaps in the Bible that are completely unexplained. And once you become a logical individual, you start to realize, hold on, maybe the Bible is actually telling me some weirder stuff, like angels having sex with humans. That's in the Bible.
I was kidding.
That's the reason why God sent the flood. But doesn't that kind of confirm some other religions? Didn't Zeus and Odin get down like that?
I can infiltrate their security.
Ah,
AIM will attempt to initiate
That's how you start to notice that all of those stories start to come together. And I actually don't believe, that's why I'm not a Christian. Because I believe that they got a lot of their information from other people and they're just compiling stories together.
I'm just taking it all in. When it comes to the whole, I'm a very religious person. You know what I mean, bro? Christian household.
I do too.
So when I think about his birth, it's like I don't really question shit, bro. If it said happen, happen. I don't really like question shit like that, bro.
You always have to question. Always. There, and one of the things that I find funny is there's actually a verse in the Bible that tells you that you're not supposed to question things. And once I read that verse, I was like, hold on, this is a little wild, bro. Exactly. Like, I understand my wisdom is not up there with God's, but if I have a question, then the Bible should already have an answer to it, right? And my preacher was the one who kind of messed it up for me. When I was younger, he told me that truth can stand investigation. So I started investigating. And when you tell somebody who actually likes investigating stuff that truth can stand investigation, then they're going to start investigating things. And I start asking questions of him that he couldn't answer. And I'm like, yo, you went to school for this, right? I asked him that specific question about angels having sex with humans. And he was like, oh no, it means something else. Because in that verse, well, in that passage, it says that the sons of God was having sex with the daughters of men. Right? Or they were marrying, taking wives with the daughters of men. So, alright, you can go ahead and say that they're preachers or something along those lines. They're just really devout men. Alright, I'll accept that. So then we go forward to Job chapter 1. I don't know if you're familiar with the story of Job, but Job is a man who is a really religious guy, like really religious. And God was having a meeting with, coincidentally, the sons of God. And the devil came into this meeting. And God asked the devil, what have you been doing? And the devil said, I've been going back and forth across the earth, tempting men. And, it's been too easy. I don't have any challenge. And God said, well, have you considered my servant Job? And that conversation happened twice, where the devil walked in on a meeting between God and the sons of God. So who are these sons of God that are able to be in the presence of God and the devil, but also slept with humans? They have to be angels. And when I asked my preacher that question, he could not give me a clear answer. Exactly. So that's when I start to realize, okay, if truth can stand investigation and I can't get clear answers from you, then maybe you're not telling me the truth. Oh, I completely agree.
I'm I low key don't want time travel. Being honest, but like, I don't know. Shit, TVA can come for you.
My wife was saying that because I had asked her the other day if she could have any superpower, what would it be? And she said to control time. I was like, man, that sounds corny and all this other stuff. I'd rather have telepathy, control other people's minds. And at first, it just ended up being an argument, and then we ended up watching Loki, and I was like, you know what? The ability to control time sounds kind of overpowered right now. When she slapped the shit out of him, and he was moving at 1/16 the speed, I was like, oh shit. I thought so too.
Damn. Damn, he a guy. He got a fucking pimp slap off the boat.
Exactly. Like out of all of the superpowers I've thought of, I've never thought of being able to do something like that to somebody, and now I would love to be able to do something like that to somebody.
I know. Ah, what the fuck? It's not me. Who's this over there? I thought about having time powers, bro, but at the same time, I'm afraid of the consequences type shit, like the flashpoint type shit, fucking disturbing, fucking reefs of time or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the real reason I don't want the time shit, bro.
Yeah, because you don't know what's supposed to happen and what's not supposed to happen.
I probably say like, damn, I should trip on something. I didn't, and now the world is fucked.
Yeah. Because you ended up making it to work on time, which ended up giving you a promotion, and then you become a money hungry person, and then next thing you know, you become like Elon Musk, and then you blow up the world. Yeah. No, I don't have anything personal against Elon Musk. I just, I question the people that are working underneath him. I wonder if he is giving them the proper credit that they deserve. Or is he pulling a Nikola Tesla and stealing other people's inventions and taking the credit for it? Yeah, every great inventor did.